Okay, and I'm going to start the webinar. No attendees yet, but it is recording. It's after 3 o'clock. Oh, we have one. That's a good sign. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Sayers, and I'd like to inform everyone that the Steamship Authority is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. Is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself by pressing the raise your hand icon, or if you are joining by phone, pressing *9 on your keypad. And when you're recognized, please state your name for the record. I don't see anyone, so I'm assuming that no one else is making a recording. In accordance with Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, all working group members are participating remotely in today's meeting by the Zoom video conferencing app, and all members hopefully will be clearly audible to each other. Also pursuant to that statute, the Steamship Authority has ensured public access to the deliberations of the working group today for interested members of the public via Zoom. And a link to access this meeting via Zoom has been provided in the meeting notice for today's meeting. We've been informed that John Cahill will be 5 minutes late, and it's 3 minutes after 3, but I would, at this point, entertain discussion of the minutes of the working group's meeting of July 28th, 2021.
Steve, I have one point on page 12.
Got all the way up to page 12. That's great.
So you've got Mr. Trumbull observed that the trucks are still too noisy. This is in the section about the early truck arrivals.
Yep.
The trucks are still too noisy and are waking up Woods Hole residents. If you could double check, I'm almost sure I used the, I spoke about hundreds of residents, in which case I would have been including Falmouth. If you could double check that, please.
Okay. Did you by chance go back to the video of it?
No, but I'm sure of my memory about that point. So I
okay, all right, I'll check.
I could go back.
That's the case. If everyone agrees, I'll go ahead and change the minutes. It all depends whether it's there or not. That's a factual issue, not an opinion at all.
I have no problem.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as potentially? Thank you. Second?
Second it. Second it.
Okay. Roll call vote. Mr. Rougeau.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones.
Jones, aye.
Mr. Morrow.
Yes.
And Mr. Trumbull.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. We can go into the substantive portion, and hopefully John will join us. The first one is the Town of Falmouth's response to the working group's request for the town. And I've been remiss, I have not welcomed Peter McConaty, who is joining us today to assist us in our work. Thank you, Peter, again. You joined us last time, and you and Jim McLaughlin are tag teaming participation, I understand, for our meetings in the future. What I'd like to do is to share my screen, and at the last meeting, I was authorized to send a letter to the Town of Falmouth on behalf of the working group. And I sent it out to the working group. I hope I got it accurately. Doug Jones asked me if I had enough direction, and I thought I had. And I've sent this letter to Falmouth Town Manager Suso on July 30th. And essentially it is to ask the town to apply for a permit from MassDOT for the installation of speed feedback signs along the state highway leading to Woods Hole. I use that language because we're also, that would include Goodwill Park up north of the Jones Road intersection. Request MassDOT to schedule a tree trimming and site distance clearing project along this corridor. That's also because the existing signage is hard to see sometimes. And request the Massachusetts State Police to take enforcement action against overweight trucks. And I did that that day, sent it out. And by email to Julian, he thanked me and he is asking whether the Steamship Authority is going to assist in the expense of this. And I just said we didn't discuss it because we didn't. And I figured that's the only thing I would be authorized to say, because at the last meeting we didn't discuss it. So the next issue is I have not heard anything back from Julian or any member of the town. And so my first question now is maybe to Peter, whether he's heard of any reaction or response to this request from the town of Falmouth.
Yes, I received an email from Julian asking me if there was some cost associated with it and how it would be paid for. And I stated to him that it wasn't mentioned during the meeting. That, you know, engineering and the town could go out and work with the state on performing the locations where the signs may go, but the actual signs, no funding had been discussed or approved for it.
Okay,
Well, I'll be the one to express my frustration with Julian's response. This committee has no funds to be able to spend. We can't ask I mean, I guess we could ask the Steamship Authority just the way we can ask the town. But there's no way that this committee would be able to suggest funds are available.
and I agree with that, Doug. I think we've looked at it from everyone's perspective. We've gotten the expertise of Peter and Jim. We've all agreed that they would be effective. We don't want too many of them, but we think they'd be effective in helping the situation. And it's up to the town to decide whether they want to do it on their own or whether they want to ask the Steamship Authority. And if they were to ask the Steamship Authority, it's up to the Steamship Authority to have that discussion with them. I know there are larger issues that I don't think we need to get into here about the passenger embarkation fees and how much, but I'd rather that we stay away from that because it goes against what we're trying to do as a working group, is my sense.
I guess I would be in favor of a fairly quick email somehow stating that this committee doesn't have the authority. I think you've already said it anyway, but we still hope that the town will move forward in investigating it. And if they want to request funds from the Steamship Authority, that's up to the town to do, but it's outside of the purview of this committee.
That works for me.
I think it is important for us to send a message back trying to continue to push the town to move forward on this. As
I
opposed to
agree.
Julian feeling that this response he gave, shut the door and he's done.
I agree with that. Does anyone else have any opinions? Hearing none, if no one else has any objection, I will email Julian by the end of this week with that response on our behalf.
I have no problem with that.
Okay. All right. So the next item on the agenda, let me get rid of this. Don't know what that's about. Is the enforcement of our policy of early arrivals. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we missed the month of June because of all the emails of the ransomware attack. So we started fresh over the month of July. And these are the emails that went out to the freight shippers who had arrived early during the month of July. That's their compliance rate. It's excellent for the trips starting at 6 o'clock, 6:30, 6:45, and 7 o'clock. We have 100%. We really looked to see if there were early trucks, and we couldn't find any. Half of that is because during the summer, we give them the ability to arrive at 6:15 instead of 6:30. So that may increase come the end of the summer schedule. But the one thing I would note for the 5:30 trip, we're comparing that percentage only to the 3-space, 4-space, and 5-space trucks. On the 5:30 trip, the maximum space truck there can be is a 3-space truck. The most number of trucks carried on that trip are 2-space trucks. And in addition to the 62 3-space trucks carried during the month of July on the 5:30 trip, there were 265 2-space trucks carried. And when you factor in the 2-space trucks, which we are counted in these early arrivals, that's a compliance rate of 97.2%. So we're actually doing far better on the early arrivals for the 5:30 a.m. trip that this chart shows. But that's because for the other trips, we're only counting the 3 and the 4 and the 5-space trucks. 5:30 trip during the month of July also carried 66 1-space trucks. And if you factor those in, the compliance rate is 97.7%. So at this point, we're almost at the same situation we were at the last time when, as Nat pointed out, it's not the trucks arriving early for their scheduled trip, it's the early scheduling of the trip itself. Oh, I just got a text mail saying I'm in on meeting. And is that John? Let me stop sharing my screen and see if I can see him. Don't see him. Oh, Michael Santoro is, let me see. Promote to panelist. That's a good one. That's where I got him. All right.
John is also an attendee, I see.
I see. Okay. I hope I did that right.
And 5 other
He's just-
attendees.
John, we lost you somehow.
I'm in, Steve. Can you hear me?
Michael's in, yes, but we're also looking for John Cahill. Hopefully he'll call back. I'm sure it's something I did. There he goes. Sorry, John, it was nothing personal. Okay. Wait, you're on mute. Okay. So we just finished up the enforcement of our early arrivals. Does anyone have any comments on that?
I think all the work the steamship has done and the trucking companies have done, they've done an exceptional job. I mean, 97%, that's pretty good.
We think at least we're dealing with that. So thank
So,
you.
I mean, the other way of looking at that, every third day, there's an early truck that may be waking us up even earlier.
But it is
than
better than
5,
every
10.
day.
Say again?
It is better than every day. So
Yes.
we're working in the right direction.
Steve, did I overhear you say this is each early arrival generates an email? Is that what you said? No. Or
Yes,
Allison?
Allison goes through them and
So why are you getting any, are there repeat offenders, or these are new trucks? I'm just surprised there are any early arrivals.
for the most part, they're third-party carriers. They're ones who are contracted with by the freight shippers, and they are the ones who, for some reason, the communication is not made. And that seems to be the case. There are very few repeat offenders I've seen this month of July. I'm going to share my screen again.
And just because they're early, I mean, yes, I know 2 minutes is still early.
Right, and so here is the
Matter of
other
someone's
one.
clock being off.
For the most part, they're less than 5 minutes early as well. And those 2:39 and 40 minutes, I've forgotten, but those were third-party carriers that I think they were a moving company or something along that
I
line.
believe so.
So,
It's a shame they can't travel later.
so the freight shippers have gotten the message and they're doing pretty well. Okay, if there aren't any more comments on that, the next one is the proposed additional reservation only days for the Martha's Vineyard route, subject of much aggravation. I'm relieved
say-
to report,
No less aggravation. Let me add that.
yes, I'm relieved to report that at yesterday's Steamship Authority Board meeting, based upon Allison's staff summary, they have expanded the number of reservation-only days for this year through weekends from Labor Day to Columbus Day. We took that, I know that Doug and Nat, you were hoping that could be 7 days a week this year, but we don't have the staffing capability to do that. When we have reservation-only days, we have to allow the public more time during the day in order to make reservations. And so we have to increase the hours that the Mashpee Reservations Office is open. Generally, it's only open until 9, but we can't even get that. I guess we're only going to open it until 6 o'clock.
But we're also going to put out an informative video too, so to show people how to change their reservations online, and they'll also be able to go into the ticket office and do it there as well.
Okay. So that is the better situation than it was before. For next summer, I know the staff is considering whether to ask that there be reservation-only days every day of the week for the entire summer schedule. That's something that the Vineyard public has gotten used to in terms of having reservation-only days, Fridays through Mondays. And we hope that will be a good transition for them for the next summer. The worst traffic backups we've had on Woods Hole have been on standby days. That was particularly on June 23rd. We've had fewer complaints about backups since then. I think the Woods Hole terminal employees are doing a great job in keeping that down, but we have gotten a few complaints since then of traffic backups coming onto Woods Hole Road, but we haven't gotten any about it going all the way back up to the Dome. And that was beginning around the July 4th holiday. That's when we do have reservation-only days for at least 4 days of the week. So that's probably one of the reasons. So hopefully that will help things as we go forward.
I was in traffic last week, backed up, and it had nothing to do with Woods Hole.
Yep, that happens too. But that's not our responsibility, but our responsibility is when it happened due to us, and that's what we're taking care of, we think. We think we're going to be taking care of that much better. And there was something else we'll get to when Nat also emailed us. We'll wait until his communications about a particular traffic backup, and that did correspond with the opening of the Woods Hole drawbridge that time. So there are multiple reasons for it, but hopefully we can eliminate the reason that emanates from the Steamship Authority.
That bridge is open so much, it might be hard to pin it down. One question I'm reading today on the website, at the Steamship website, standby is not available today. Why is that? It's a,
Because of the hurricane.
I see. How often do you cancel standby on
Not very
Tuesday to
often,
Thursday?
only in extreme circumstances, and this was one of them, so.
So all
I
this
asked-
week?
Is that because you're backed up? You're trying to get the rest of the reservations over?
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.
So I would just note, so the message on the front page of the website says, call our reservation only line. You can't do any of this online? I mean, there
You
aren't
can.
instructions.
You can, but
So if you, so if you have issues with your reservation bank overflowing,
it requires to have your PIN, and not all customers remember their PINs to be able to log on to the website to do it. So that's where an issue comes up with some of the customers being able to do it.
I'll bet everyone on this call knows their PIN.
You'd be surprised.
All right, so that's that. Let me stop the share. So we can see anyone. And the next subject is the emails received by the Steamship Authority of Woods Hole Traffic. I guess I'll share again, but it's nice to see everyone.
Can I
I
ask a
sent this
question
out.
about not Woods Hole traffic?
Pardon?
Can I ask a question about traffic that was not Woods Hole traffic? I
Yes.
did know some, I think, post on social media about a horrible day with Vineyard traffic also. and would think that this committee could be concerned not only about traffic in Woods Hole, but traffic that the Vineyard people are suffering through also.
That was,
That was Saturday when Oak Bluffs was closed, I believe, Pierre. Everything
yes,
went through Vineyard Haven.
That because of the hurricane, Oak Bluffs was not running as a boat service at all for anybody.
On
correct.
Saturday, yeah.
And then on Sunday, if I can interject, was when the boats opened up again, it was only Vineyard Haven.
Right, and that was from 5:20 was the first departure out of New Haven.
Yeah.
And it was just everyone rushing to try to get on, even though we were trying to limit it to certain reservations from the canceled boats to help try to mitigate the traffic. People saw an opening and ran.
It was backed up in some places over a half mile.
Yep.
That's a horrible mess.
It was bad.
I
Steve,
mean,
what's-
Tisbury Police did the best they could considering what was going on. I do have to give them credit for that. So they were there the whole entire time helping out.
You know, putting Henry aside, it was a perfect storm. It was the end of summer and Henry at the same time.
Absolutely.
So everyone panicked early, starting on Thursday and Friday, and then we're bottlenecked and then opened up on Sunday and everybody wanted out.
I'm assuming everyone was upset at the Vineyard because Saturday was a perfect, you couldn't ask for a better boating day. It was like glass out there. And to see Oak Bluffs closed, everybody was just freaking out. But I understand you have to plan ahead of time. You didn't know when the storm or the waves were gonna hit, but it was crazy. We had more boaters come over Saturday because of the condition, but that's something you had to make that call ahead of time, so.
Right.
All right.
Doesn't sound like there's anything we can do about this in discussion. I didn't want to have that pass by without us being concerned about it on both sides.
Thank
Okay.
you.
2 more standby comments, but we're going to return to this topic. Is that right?
Sure. But you can do it now.
Well, 2 things. I'm still interested in what technology solutions might help with substituting these. So on standby days, driving into Woods Hole, seeing what's up, seeing what's happening. I mean, Allison's mentioned the Nantucket solution, cameras, space on Palmer Ave. I just haven't heard any other solutions other than restricting standby. And I think there could be some new technology solutions that would help you. I mean,
Well,
you
maybe we can
hear
look
about
into that.
people circling through from Woods Hole to Falmouth. In fact, when we look at the traffic counts between Woods Hole and Falmouth, I'm pretty sure some of those counts are repeat trips, just back and forth, back and forth.
I would agree with it. The amount of information you can get when you go to Logan about everything you can do and where you can go and where you can't go. It certainly is doable to give that same kind of information as they come down to Woods Hole, saying they can know how many spots are available. They can sign up for them. They can get all the information. It really shouldn't be that hard for the steamship to come up with the access to that kind of technology.
Well, I believe our website does put in on an ongoing basis how many cars and trucks are waiting in standby at each of the terminals.
All it would mean would be to train these people saying, the only way you can get on standby is to go through our website. Don't drive down to Woods Hole.
I think the problem with that is you're talking about people. People are arrogant and they're gonna do what they want to do, a lot of people. They just show up, think that they can go on whatever boat they want. I think the steamship is doing everything they can to mitigate the problem, but if you don't have people listening, it's a moot subject.
If they're not allowed on, they'll learn. If you
Some of
say-
these people are 1 and 2 time people. It's not like it's offenders. It's people who come down once or twice.
I
you
thought
know,
it was supposed to be
people
blue
who-
line people who are regulars. I thought the people we're talking about are people who are regular residents who are trying to come back. It isn't these 1 or 2 time people that thought was our problem. I
I
thought
think
most of the
you're
people who,
combining 2 things. You're combining the blue line and you can combine a standby. You got to separate the 2. You're talking about 2 different things right now.
what sort of numbers are we dealing with that are these 1 and 2, people are only doing on rare occasion? Is that a vast majority of our people, Steve, or is that,
If someone comes down on vacation one time, they don't see the signs from here to Wareham. There's a big sign up on 28 that says park here. How many people have driven by that? It's, you know, they're just gonna come down. They've been driving all day. They're gonna show up in Woods Hole and see if they can get over it early and start their vacation early. The blue line is a whole different subject.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the blue line as another point. What about, so your Ellie, oh, I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead.
John, you have your hand raised.
You know, I thought we might want to do here is that, you know, I think the Steamship Authority is spending $1 million on website redesign, including smartphones, is how to build into that smartphone functionality, because that's where people will look while they're traveling. Somewhere on that home or first screen is a button for standby info. So as opposed to going out to a website, they can on their smartphone find a button that says standby and it'll say 15 in Woods Hole or whatever that number is.
So
I think people would use that.
Right.
To make
So
it easy.
Right, because our mobile app right now basically just shows you what time the boats leave and that's it. If it's delayed or diverted. We're
Right.
trying to look at getting a more, I don't want to say user-friendly, but a more appropriate mobile app as well as the website itself.
Right.
The only way you can do standby on the mobile app, that would
What's
take
that?
care of most of these problems.
Right, and right now, if you wanted to see what standby was using your phone, you'd have to go to the mobile app where you'd see the times, go down to the bottom, hit full website, and you'd find it. So there's a lot of
Right.
steps right now.
Now you guys can change.
Oh, that's why we're doing a website redesign.
So
And,
maybe this group wants to make a recommendation to Sean Driscoll that he improves the presence of the standby information on the mobile app
Absolutely.
to be easily located.
Because right now we are reviewing the all the people that are interested in the reviewing all the submissions right now for the websites. We have 16 companies that are interested in redesigning our website. So we're starting to push through with this right now. So it's a good time to bring that up.
And the standby customers would be thrilled if it were easier also.
Oh,
This-
yeah.
This would be serving them as even better than the Woods Hole people. If they
Yep.
knew, hey, the only way I can get on standby is to get in that app, push the app. Once I pushed it, I've got a spot. I now know I have a spot. I'm really not even standby anymore. I now have a guaranteed spot. Come on down, get on the boat.
Or don't bother to come down.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Go to the parking lot, enjoy your
All
day.
right. So by acclamation, unless people disagree, we're asking Allison to forward that suggestion on to Sean Driscoll.
Well, the good thing is I'm actually on the website committee, so
Okay,
Right.
all right.
There you go.
So send it to Allison.
yay.
But the other aspect, which I also like, is I like the standby system we use for the Nantucket terminal, where people get on standby by going to the website, and the mobile app would be better. And then when they are able to come down to the Nantucket terminal, they are texted. And that's the first time that they can get to the terminal. And that's what I like. And it would be great to have that type of system at the Woods Hole terminal if it can be done. But I know the terminals are different. We have a lot more cars, a lot more things going on in Woods Hole than we do on Nantucket. And I know that Allison is trying to implement that same system in Hyannis, and I don't know how it's going. So,
It's not going too great, but it's a work in progress.
Alex,
At least,
I'm sorry, finish.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
How often is that standby information updated?
They're supposed to be doing it at the very least once an hour. So that way, once an hour, it clears out 2 boats. Because we have the back-to-back boats, you know, the 230, the 250, 345, 405. So they try to do it after the freight boats, which is roughly once an hour. That way it's fresh for the new boats to come in and it's as accurate as it can be. Because
Okay.
unfortunately, it's the ticket sellers that are the ones that have to update it right now.
Done manually.
We're also looking at the system for our standby and cancellations and all that is tied in with the point of sales. We're in the process of trying to pull those 2 programs apart. That way we can give more people access to updating standby and everything else, not just the ticket sellers, because it might be easier for the agents just to go in there and write 20 cars, submit, instead of waiting to call into the ticket office, wait for the line to go down, have them log in. So we are working on that and we're hoping to have that separated by next month.
All right, now here's another wild idea.
Watch it
With
now.
with the new redesign of that whole terminal area, couldn't we make this process be electronic with people's cars parked in the standby line?
Electronic and how, what do you,
Well, it could do a visual or it could do a trigger. And
well,
would just
we do have the
automatic.
webcam. I mean,
What's
there is
that?
the webcam. If it's working, there is a camera that you can go on and look and see what is in standby currently. We've been having some issues with it lately, so unfortunately, I think it's still on June 10th, which isn't helping out right now, but they are working on trying to figure out where the bug is between the website and the camera. And that updates every 5 or 10 minutes. The
How
picture,
often has the standby backup been a problem?
what do you mean by backup being a problem?
When it's backed up to the dome, how often does that happen?
Well, it's not just the dome. I mean, I hear daily reports of it backing up into Woods Hole Road past the library. I mean, that happens daily at certain times of the day. And that's regular, not the dome.
I understand that, but you're gonna have traffic back up anywhere you come, depending on the boat, depending on just everyday traffic, school buses, everything. My problem with this whole thing is this is just not a Woods Hole Road problem. I empathize with you, but this is a Cape problem and an island problem that we let the cat out of the dog, the cat out of the bag 20 years ago, and we're trying to claim it now. I don't feel we're being realistic in some of these ideas in this committee. I mean, I just, some of the problem is gonna happen. You just can't fix everything.
Oh, I agree with you, Stephen, but I think what we're looking at and what Doug has suggested is there a better standby system that we can implement through a
Oh,
smart?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but some of
Right.
it, you're just not gonna be able to fix because of people.
No,
I mean, I
Doug,
think a lot of it will help us out in the long run is when we do get the new website and we can integrate some of that stuff, that technology into the website that will give our customers more up-to-date live time, but unfortunately it takes time to make a website. But it is something that we will be looking at, making sure that's incorporated into it, that and the mobile site.
And the webcam, that seems like such an easy fix to get that up, keep that up and running. You turn it off early in the morning for some reason?
Yeah, that's something to do with our general counsel. But basically what happens is, hold on a second, oh, never mind, someone's coming in to steal chocolate. So anyway, basically what it is it's not a live camera. It takes a picture every 5 to 10 minutes and then it sends it to the website. But for some reason, there's a disconnect between our current company that does our website, iMark, and the cameras, and that's what the issue is right now. And they're trying to figure out why all of a sudden we're starting to have these issues.
Seems like something should be manageable.
and that you wanted to ask something about the blue line?
Well, Bob Davis refers to the blue line as the quasi standby. And I just wondered if, is that up to 50 cars a day? Is that what I've heard?
It's 15 cars a day, but it's up to the discretion of the agent or the circumstances that are happening at the terminals if they want to increase and or decrease it.
So it could be up to 200 cars a day? No.
I doubt that.
So my question is that a possible driver of the backing up, the backup?
No, and I think we've discussed this before. I think even Allison said she's never seen a blue line go as high as 50, is my memory from the minutes before.
I mean, usually we'll try to do 15 in the morning and 15 in the afternoon. Unless it's a really, really, really slow day, then that's a different story. But having a really slow day in the summertime is kind of non-existent, so.
And so the more cars there are at the terminal, the fewer cars are allowed to be in the blue line. Because that's how the terminal agents keep control of the traffic around the terminal and onto the boats. And as far as Allison and I have been able to determine, we've never had the blue line contribute to a traffic backup onto Woods Hole Road.
Right, because on reservation, that's all you're getting is for the quasi standby, or however you want to call it.
So I'm
But that
amazed that-
represents a balancing of the interest of traffic and the ability of island residents to travel too. It represents a wonderful compromise, in my opinion, as to try to accommodate everyone as best we can.
So it's a quasi standby, but it's a small quasi, or it's a small
Correct.
standby.
And it's literally just for island residents.
I thought that was a third of your traffic.
Island residents are better at planning than our tourists are.
Right. And the island residents have gotten used to the fact that they cannot rely on the blue line to get back on reservation only days. And so they make reservations. So they've done that, but on standby days, they still believe that they can just go down to the terminal and wait and get on, which is what they've been doing. And so on that June 23rd day, during a standby day, there was no blue line. That wasn't a reservation only day. 80% of those customers were reported to have been island residents. They know what to do on reservation only days. They know even if they get in the blue line, they may be sitting there for hours. And they don't want that. And they've learned to function with the reservation only system. And we're hoping that's going to improve for next year as well.
One other comment, I appreciate the attention to the standby days, but you are still getting backup on the other 4 days of the week. And
It's not
maybe
3 days.
maybe less. It's only 3 days now? I'm
There's
talking
only
about the
3 days of
reservation
sta-
only.
Reservation only, it's 4 days a week.
That's right.
Standby
So
is
those
3 days
those
a
4
week.
days, you also get backups, probably less than the other 3. Have
And
you
the only
consi-
backup I've heard on reservation only days is on to the Crane Street Bridge. I haven't heard it going past the Crane Street Bridge on a reservation only day.
Okay, so I would count that within the backups. And certainly the residents who live out there would count that. The Coast Guard would probably count it.
No,
Have
we
you
agree,
considered,
we agree with that, but we're improving. It's a great improvement over going all the
so
way.
just one other idea for you to consider on those reservation only days, you're not allowing standby. Why not add out on your nice LED signs on 28, no standby today, just like you've got on your website. I mean, that's really prominent on your website. Anyone who reads that, I hope believes it.
No one reads the LED sign either.
Yeah, oh, sure they do.
Well-
I read it every time.
Well, I think the important thing on that variable message sign is telling people where to park. Because everyone who is with their cars and traveling with their cars over to the vineyard, they know whether it's a reservation only day or a standby day, probably. But the people who are unfamiliar with the Steamship Authority's operations are those who are coming, parking their car and going over on foot. And that's where we have to tell them, park at Thomas B. Landers or park at Palmer Avenue or wherever. We have to get them off the road as quickly as possible.
And
That to me is the most important message at that time.
And some of the backup is caused by people trying to park. They don't read the sign, or they read the sign and they choose to ignore it, thinking they can drive all the way down into Woods Hole and that they'll get parking. When we turned around to drive all the way back down Woods Hole Road back to our parking lot at Thomas Landers.
Yeah, well, I'm not advocating
Say out
for
of
removing
every
the
5
parking.
cars on those days, at least 1 are going back for parking. I
So
know
definitely keep
experience
the
that
parking
happens.
message, just an
Yeah.
idea that you might, I think it cycles through fast enough. You might include no standby today. I think that might help. You yourselves have said it's the one time, the one-off arrivals who just show up. Something to consider. I think there is enough time on those signs. Is there just one sign? There are 2 signs, right?
Just the one.
Oh, there's just one.
Okay. We'll go on to emails we received. And these are the emails we received since the last meeting. We're actually duplicating the first one because Allison had not responded to it. And this is traffic off of the boats. Someone was asking if we could do better at spreading out the arrivals. And given the boat schedule, we do it as much as we can with the scheduled boat and make certain that the ferries arrive on time and not early. So Allison had responded to that. I'll just go through these.
Wait, what is the complaint? I'm sorry, have you sent these, Steve? I haven't seen this yet. You did?
Yes, I sent them
Okay, all
last
right.
Friday. They thought that we were putting all the vehicles off the boats at the same time from 2 or more boats. And we have actually tried to keep the arrivals as far apart as possible, given the schedule. So that was they also talked about hazardous cargo, and we talked, and Allison responded to that about when we have hazardous cargo trips.
Okay.
Bottleneck on Crane Street Road. That's when we were talking about expanding the reservation only days. So Allison responded to Joan Lederman's email.
Steve, may I ask what's happening with the long range committee? This letter references long range. Has that committee met recently?
I don't know. I was asked to step down because they felt I was biased.
Oh, I was at the meeting where they said they wanted to keep you. All right.
And we have not met. I think they're waiting to hear from somebody in New Bedford. But Steve, I didn't realize that you were asked to step down.
Yes, the Falmouth Transportation Management Committee made a recommendation to the Falmouth Select Board that I be replaced because of my biases. And the Falmouth Select Board voted to make that request.
But Steve, the steamship board, which makes as we know, these decisions, its
Yeah.
preference was to keep you.
It's a no-win situation for me, isn't it? No matter.
No, the steamship board wanted to keep you.
I haven't heard.
Well,
that.
that's what they discussed.
All I watched was the Falmouth Select Board meeting, and I was on that task force to try to help become part of the solution for everybody. And if the Falmouth people think I'm biased, there's no win. There's no way I can continue with that.
Steve, check the July steamship board meeting where they would like to keep you.
July 30th. Roberta Brooks, we've received a few emails from her about shuttle buses speeding, and we are able to check the speeds of the shuttle buses and the times if we get that information. So Allison I responded to this when Allison was on a very short vacation. And so this one was, she was able to say, please correct the seat of approximately at 1130 Palmer Avenue, headed Woods Hole for bus 43. And we did, and it does appear the travel was at 41 miles an hour in the 35-mile-per-hour zone. And we've given all the bus drivers more notice about that, importance of not speeding. And Mike Young talked to them again. So, and she said bus 43 seems to be involved a lot, but I'm informed that we have several drivers who drive that bus. And all the instances that Roberta Brooks mentioned had to do with a different driver.
Right, because the buses are chosen by start of shift and seniority, so.
Yeah.
First come.
So they're trying to make boats? Is that what's going on? Is that why they're speeding at all?
No, I just don't think they realized how fast they were going.
This is from Catherine Bumpus. Traffic problems today, even though it's no standby day, and going through the wrong lanes into the terminal. And that's the screen post.
I would like to comment. I know we've had a couple of complaints about buses cutting around.
Yes, that's frequent. That's more than a couple I've heard, yeah.
Now, all bus drivers have been told they're not allowed to do that until they get even with the employee parking lot. We've actually received complaints from customers that were on the bus that almost missed the boat because the bus wouldn't cut out. So I just wanted to put that out there that we're getting complaints from both sides in dealing with our buses cutting out or not cutting out.
But our instruction to the bus drivers are
Or
what?
not to.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that.
No, absolutely. And what they don't realize is we do radio down, the drivers do radio down the boats to inform them that, hey, I'm 2 minutes out, please hold the boat. So the customers aren't gonna miss the boat, but they don't know that.
Another one from Roberta Brooks about
And
it.
just probably tell them,
Wait,
the people on the bus, that the boat's gonna wait for them.
yeah, can't that be, if there's radio, isn't there a PA system that would calm some nerves, I would think?
That also requires you to listen. Not all buses have PA systems. The only ones that do are the newer style buses anyway.
Oh, you gotta have the PA system. I would think that would be,
All our newer ones do, but not the older style buses.
What about 43? I'm just kidding.
43 does, because 43 is a new flyer. That's one of our brand new buses.
All right.
well, I hope there's no justification ever for cutting, I mean, basically breaking the law, cutting, I mean, that's dangerous.
Mm-mm.
We saw Pam start.
Even as an agent, I've always told drivers not to pass until they're on the property on the straightaway by the employee lot.
Yeah,
It's-
and by the way, that's not
for them.
even steamship property yet. It's
But at
the
least they
ship's
have a clear
property.
view of what's coming at them if anything is.
All right. Again, Roberta with a bus. And the driver on July 31st was going 60 in a 55-mile zone and 43. So they've been spoken to. And that's good. We like that when she brings that to our attention, because they should not exceed the speed limit. Catherine Bumpras took a photograph at 3:25 on Sunday, which is a reservation only day. There are ones on the bridge. I don't know if there are backups beyond that.
You can also see it going down Water Street too.
Yeah.
You know, when we take photos, I could almost guarantee we're looking at Water Street, and if the problem's there, we're not going to bother to send it to you.
Well, she's in her car, so it would be hard for her to figure that out at that time.
Well, maybe.
And there it's up on the bridge, but at least it's not going out on Woods Hill
It's on the
Road.
cha-
And I know we don't even want that on the bridge, but it's getting better.
How is it getting better?
It's not up to the dome anymore, as far as I know. The month of June was really bad.
Well,
The month of June, you had the 4th of July weekend, and that's when the reservation only starts. So everybody's trying to pile in there and get their reservations
Right.
done before the 4th. It's one of them rare occasions. It's not an everyday occurrence.
Yep.
well, I hope the dome is not our threshold.
No, but it was.
Now, improved on that, and we'll improve and keep on improving.
Crossing the double yellow line, and Allison will speak to the driver. Photos showing him doing it, or her. And Catherine reported another backup on August 9th. That's the last one. So it's not perfect yet, but it's better than last month. Oh, there are 2 comments in the chat. Let me see what they are. Let me stop sharing. Okay, that's why you shouldn't let the backup happen. No, it was really clear that it was. I'm just confused whether it's the drawbridge or the Crane Street bridge, but probably the Crane Street bridge. Oh, that was the cause of the backup. Okay.
If we have time, I've about the new terminal. I've heard there will be 2 ticket sheds. Is that the plan?
There is technically 2 ticket sheds now, one up top where the one that you see, and then there's one farther back. So they'll check in and then go out to the back booth, get their tickets printed, and then get in line. There may be 2 booths up front. But it's just a matter of, we gotta wait to see what the traffic flow, if that's gonna impede on it or not. Because technically it'll be out more into the road.
Oh, you think it might get worse with 2 ticket sheds?
Okay, and then we only received 1 email from Nat, I think, or 2 actually, with 1 incident. So he's slacking off. Since the last meeting. On July 31st, last 20 minutes, watching traffic pile up in Little Harbor, Whittle Road going south, it's piled up to Beth Colt's place. Crane Street Bridge and Crane Street are at a standstill too.
Allison, you're saying they're gonna have to pick up tickets? Why do they have to pick up tickets still?
Because we don't have them electronically yet.
Okay,
That on the app list, please.
We gotta get the passenger tickets done first before we can get on the car tickets, so. We're still, right now we have passenger tickets done, we still haven't done the books yet, the 5-car, 10 ride monthly passes. It's a slow process. It's not as easy as everyone thinks us to come up with an e-ticket. So.
And that email was about another backup, which started at 3:25 and he emailed maybe 20 minutes later, 15 minutes later, and it seemed to be flowing freely. So they're trying.
Wait, who's trying? Oh, at the,
The Whittle employees are trying to keep it flowing as much as possible.
yeah, although they can't even see when it's back to Beth's, we talked about last time.
I thought Allison said they can see it. They get upset when it's backed up even going up the hill. And that's when they start to assign more employees there. But the problem at the beginning of the summer was partly due to the fact that we were having an employee shortage.
We still are, to be honest with you. We've already lost a couple, and trying to find people to hire at this time of year is not exactly the easiest thing either, knowing that they're gonna get laid off.
Well, I'd still be a proponent for webcam pointed up that direction, just because I've cited it myself. You can't see most of Woods Hole Road if you're at the ticket shed. And so if it's 100-foot backup or 600 or 1,000, they're just not going to know until people start reporting.
I think we're talking, this is not a perfect system. The steamship is doing the best they can. They've bent over backwards to help out and do what they can, and they get no credit for it. And it's really starting to piss me off. You know, we on this committee, the steamship, they're going bending over backwards to put in all these new policies, and it's to no avail. Nothing's good enough, and it's getting frustrating.
I think at the last meeting, we were talking about that the only solution for this backup problem was to go from standby to reservation only days. We have done that as much as we can this year, given our employee shortage at the reservations department. And next year, the staff is considering asking the board to go to reservation only days, 7 days a week. So those are extremely positive steps towards this. And the rest is simply a matter of the current job market and getting terminal employees, as many as we can, who are doing their job. And when you hear the compliments we receive about the terminal employees from the public, from the traveling public, I mean, they're amazing. And it's been a very tough summer for everyone, I think, in the service industry. I think Michael Santoro will agree with that. And people are exhausted, and they're.
Well, one sees a range of comments, Steve. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Positive or great, but I've seen a lot of negative as well.
and I think
And the thing
frustration
is, though-
helping everybody. It's not just, Woods Hole people are just as frustrated that even though steamship authority is making these efforts, very little seems to be happening. It's getting better, it's a little bit better, but it still happens on a regular basis and they see it. And so it's very frustrating for the Woods Hole people to say, we keep pointing it out, we send the emails. Great that you guys are trying, but not enough is happening.
But like I said before, you can't control what people decide to do. If they decide they want to come to the boat, the steamship has no control.
It sure they do. Eventually they'll learn. If they could never get on the boat, they would. Eventually they would learn.
You can't show up for any flight you want and just say it's ready to, it's time to go.
So
Well-
if you show up at Logan 2 hours early, are you gonna turn around and go back? That's what you guys are telling these people to do. They've driven hours and hours and hours.
And if,
There's gotta be some give here.
no, Steve, that's the whole problem is there's give. If there was no give, they wouldn't do it. You would
Okay.
never show up for Logan 2 hours early, hoping you're gonna have a flight. You would know whether you're gonna have a flight or not. You wouldn't do that. If they knew that there's no chance they'd get on the boat, they would not show up.
Yeah, but
Okay,
what
so-
Steve is trying to say, Steve is trying to say is the fact that when you have a 9 o'clock flight out of Logan, you show up 2 hours early. These customers, some of them have the same mentality that I need to make sure I get there early so I can find out where I'm going, so I don't get lost, so I can get my tickets, I can get in line and get ready for my departure. Not all of them are trying to go early. Yes, some of them are, but not all of them. They just want to make sure that they're at the right place at the right time, and they're not going to be late and miss their reservations.
So you're saying this is a very different group than these standby people.
It's a
Some of them can
combination
be,
of a
yeah.
number of people, yes.
There's so many factors involved in this that it's beyond just standby. It's people trying to make sure that I know how I am when I travel. I'll go early everywhere I'm going because I don't want to be late. I don't want to get lost. It's just one of those things that some people over research, so they go above and beyond and get down there too early.
So your tickets, when one buys a ticket, don't say something like, please don't arrive more than 60 minutes before departure
Since you
time?
have to be here half an hour prior to departure. Or else
I
you'll-
understand the
reservation.
minimal. What about adding a maximum? I mean, who needs to arrive more than an hour before?
Well, for one, I
doesn't
don't know
help-
what traffic's gonna be like, so.
It doesn't help steamship for them to be an hour early. You don't want them there if they're an hour early, do you?
No, but it's. When you travel, do you make sure you go to someplace early or are you there right at 9 o'clock?
It depends on whether there's parking. So for Logan, I might go early because I know I can park. But if there are places where I say, no, there's very little parking there, I'm going to show up at the time, the window where they want me there.
If it's a
So
place
after-
you've never been before, would you show up early or would you show up on time?
I would follow the instructions I had on my
I would-
website to where they want me.
I'd follow the instructions too. I think 80% of the people. would.
Allison, is it possible to put on the ticket, since we put arrive 30 minutes before, but no earlier than an hour before or something along that line?
We can try to have Kurt put some of that language in there, yes.
Because of lack of, parking.
The problem with that is you're putting a blanket on. If someone drives 6 hours and it's the off season and you can get right on the boat, why wouldn't you want them to show up early to fill your boats up?
Because
Well, you
they're backups.
Not in the winter.
Not in the winter, no, I mean.
Okay, if you guys left Woods Hole and went to, say, Yankee Stadium in New York, could you tell me exactly what time you're gonna show up there? That's what you guys are asking these people to do. They're trying to give some leeway if they run into traffic, if they run into a breakdown, if they run into anything. People try to, you want them to relax coming down the Woods Hole. You don't want them to rush, you don't want them stressed, because that only affects the people in Woods Hole. All the employees have to deal with it. It's a tough situation. You guys are just being too narrow-minded on it, I believe.
Well, there are those very expensive time reporting signs, variable times of arrival times, which actually seem generous for Woods Hole usually, that the state's purchased. I mean, people do know what time they're going to arrive, as a matter of fact.
Well, and that, when you drive back to Connecticut, how many times have you planned thinking you're gonna get there on time and then hit unknown traffic?
Well, I'll check my app and actually have a pretty good sense of when I'll arrive.
Well,
Yeah, but
my
that
concern,
changes.
my
That
concern,
changes in mid-
at this point, I'm just going to notice that from the number of comments we received in June to the number of comments that we received from the last meeting, June and July, to the last meeting, have dropped precipitously about the number of backups on Woods Hole Road. So we're moving in the right direction, and I want to stay there. I would be concerned about telling people don't arrive 60 minutes or 90 minutes beforehand, because then we sort of take responsibility if they get into a traffic situation right before then and they don't make it on time, and they then blame us for not having arrived earlier when they wanted to. And for the most part, I think people don't arrive that much more beyond the window unless they hope that they're going to get on an earlier boat. Without knowing how many people arrive more than 60 minutes before the departure, I don't think we need to become a big brother to them any more than we already are. But I don't think that contribution is substantial to this situation. I think the standby is substantial contribution. We're addressing that and actually processing cars when they come into the terminal as quickly as possible. And that's an employee resource issue where we just have to get more employees.
I still like Mike Santoro's idea and would vote for it.
Okay. We can talk about it. We'll go to the staff, but I can see a number of problems with that. It's going to be a very small number of people, I think, who would get there that early anyway. Anything else on the subject of the emails? Allison, SA's visits to Woods Hole neighbors.
Yep, so I have gone out to a few of the, I don't want to say trouble locations, but a few of the key locations that we've had. The lights at Sippawisset, down towards Church Street more, where the hotel is. I've gone out with the sound equipment that I have on my phone, the sound apps, and I think the highest that I was getting was in the 80s, to be honest with you. And most of them, when it did register high, it was the trolley, which in theory kind of makes sense because it's a little bit more of a rudimentary kind of piece of equipment. So, but I didn't observe anyone going excessively fast. Everyone seemed to be doing the speed limits, from what I can tell. I don't have a radar gun, so I can't be the one out there playing police. Did get some strange looks, but you know.
So this is a
Oh.
specific residence observation that you're not finding confirmation of.
I mean, not of the speeding, no. I mean, the sound app, it's only as good as the app on my phone. And I actually had Angela Sampson, who is our health and safety officer for the Steamship Authority with me. She has another app on her phone, and they were all averaging. I have two different ones on my phones. She has a third one, and they were all averaging the highest in the 80s on the decibel meter.
May I ask where you were standing? Were you standing right on the sidewalk?
Pretty close to it.
So
Yep.
that's when you're gonna get your loudest reading.
Correct. Yep.
High 80s or mid 80s?
Mid 80s. A couple high 80s, but mostly mid 80s.
Because
Like-
generally anything above 85 is considered harmful. And it is a logarithmic scale. So if you're going from 85 up to 89, that's quite extensive.
Right, but that also has to be over a certain period of time as well, consistently.
So
And not every car is that sound. Obviously, a diesel truck goes by, someone's diesel pickup truck, that's gonna register higher than someone's car, gasoline car, or someone's Prius.
it's my view is these phone apps are almost nonsensical in terms of what they're reporting. I mean, we've discussed about having an actual noise monitoring system, and I don't know if we need to go to the town of Falmouth. Steve, is the position of the steamship still, we won't spend I guess $2, more than $2 on an app, or?
My personal position is that when there is noise on Woods Hole Road, it's attributable to factors such as speeding or something else. And those are the underlying conditions are what we should be focusing on. We don't, in order to focus on those underlying conditions, we don't have to know whether something is 85 decibels, 87 decibels, 89. We know when things are louder or less loud. The last meeting, we talked about the speed feedback signs. We thought that would lower the speed limit. we think that's a great way of going forward. I think we should be affirmatively pushing that solution and staying out of the politics of that, because I think that will address all of this. And if there are other ways that we can reduce speed, if we can get more weight checking of trucks on Woods Hole Road, if the louder trucks are the overweight trucks, that's another way we can do it. But we don't need to have a decibel monitoring device in order to do that, which is going to be somewhat inaccurate no matter what, given the wind, the rain, everything else going there. So I think it's a distraction from what we should be trying to accomplish.
May I ask, how many tickets have been given out on Woods Hole Road in the last year? Does anybody know?
Well, there's almost no enforcement. How could there be tickets?
So is that the steamship's fault, or is that the town of Falmouth that should be stepping up?
The opioid crisis, it just isn't where I've talked to the chief of police about this. He knows it's an issue, but it isn't where he's going to put his priority.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I have a cold. Okay. Hearing nothing more. The update on standby policy, I think we've talked about that. Nat, you asked that to be placed on.
Talked about it, yeah.
Okay. And the last one is the trends in the number of trash with 3 categories: municipal demolition and recycling trips, and of septic truck trips, comparison of 2019 and 2021, for example. So that was your item?
Well, I'll simply report that many of the noise complaints are related to trash and what feels like a very large new volume of septic trucks. And
Only 2 trips a day from what I understand, so
Two
there are
trucks.
only 2 septic, I thought.
2 septic trucks a day.
Well, if we could check the numbers, I thought I'd seen like 4 within a few minutes, but you would know, okay.
The
Well, I hope
septic
this-
trucks and the fuel trucks look very similar.
Right.
That's true, except that big brown bear is one. I've gotten to know a few of them.
That's a fuel truck.
The brown bear, excuse me, the
Yep.
Mayseals, I meant to say. Mayseals is septic.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Septic.
Maybe I've got that wrong then.
There's
Well, I'd
2
still like
trucks
to-
that go away, Mayseals and Jays.
Yeah, and Jay's, yes, thank you. Good.
The rest are fuel trucks.
Well, Allison, I'd appreciate seeing the numbers just because we read about the huge septic issue on the island, and I thought the numbers were much higher.
Nope.
Just 2 a day,
There's only 2 companies that haul.
and they only do a truck a day. Trash?
I don't have the numbers on that right now, but trash is obviously a lot higher. Trash, recycling, demo.
Demolition. Well, I still hope this might be an opening for the long range committee because as you're reaching capacity, trash, septic seem to me to be good candidates for barging. I know Steve has placed this topic on the long range agenda, but we're feeling consequences here.
Great. Anything else by anyone? Shall we talk about another date?
That's already
I could do September 29th, but I may not have the minutes done of this meeting by then. Because I'm going to be away in September before that.
Did I approve that vacation, Steve?
Thank you. But who knows?
29th works for me.
With COVID, you don't know what you're going to do.
Mm-mm.
What time on the 29th?
3 o'clock was chosen for Doug because he has a 4:30 conflict. But if that conflict doesn't exist on the 29th, I know Steve Arusha would like it to be 4.
That was a summer conflict. That's over.
So can we say 4 o'clock for Steve?
Yeah, four's better for me.
Works better for me.
Is
I
that all right
appreciate
for you,
that.
Peter? Peter, is that good for you?
Yep, 4 o'clock will work for me.
Okay. All right. So let me,
Someone needs to disagree on that one.
okay. Let me look at the attendees and see if anyone has any public comment. We got Catherine's Katz that it was the Crane Street Bridge backup, not the drawbridge. So she clarified that. I don't see any public comments, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I
Second,
second it.
Okay, Mr. Russo,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cahill,
Cahill, yes.
Mr. Jones,
Jones, yes.
Mr. Morrow,
Morrow, yes.
Mr. Santoro,
Toro, aye.
and Mr. Trumbull.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. See you in a little bit more than a month.
Feel better, Steve.
Thank you.